Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, back with part 2 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Akaza. A little household chore thingies really quick, I want to say. For one, if you want, make sure to go check out my about tab on my YouTube channel. My Twitch is there, my Discord's there. If you want to reach out to me, easiest way would be through Discord. I want to personally start streaming once again, which I was a while back, about 2 months ago, streaming pretty consistently, but I took a long hiatus to basically do what ifs. But if you want to reach out to me and talk to me, live on Twitch would be the easiest way to do it. So if you see that I'm live, come talk to me there. If not, join my Discord. You can join my Discord, you can DM me, you can type in my general chat, talk to anybody that's there. Feel free. I just want to be, it's one big community. Feel free to join. I would love as many of you as possible to join my Discord and follow me on Twitch. It'd be all fun. And honestly, if you guys want to see me stream either my process of making my what ifs, or maybe like an on the fly what if on like streaming on YouTube, let me know, because I feel like that would be really sick. I feel like I've been thinking about doing that for a little bit now. But I just wanted to see your guys' opinion on that, and I don't really have a community tab or anything like that, so I can make a poll, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and I think that's about it. I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, and we're gonna jump right back into where we left off of this what if. Aizawa then begins to basically jump into action, but as Deku is about to do so himself, 13 stands in front of him. Midoriya, you cannot. She is then cut off by Deku basically already being on the battlefield, just blitzing past her. 13 then thinks that, how the heck is this kid, how do you get by me so easily? And I didn't even realize, that he was just gone. She then realized that, alright, well, I need to focus on these other students. Deku begins to fight the, small fry villains and beats basically all of them, like one after another, with Aizawa basically next to him, and their fighting styles are actually syncing up pretty well, especially because of the fact that Deku has really in-depth senses for martial arts, beating just one after another. With only about 20 left, Deku stands there thinking that this is kind of boring now. Everyone doesn't even know how to fight, and they clean up the last bit pretty quickly. And then out of nowhere, a Nomu charges at Aizawa. Deku then tackles the Nomu, saving Aizawa barely from getting hit at full force, basically kicking the Nomu away for the time being. Midoriya, you shouldn't be here. I mean, if I wasn't, you'd be dead. Just cancel the thing's quirk and let me do the hand-to-hand combat. Midoriya, you know that is the best way to beat this thing. Deku then charges in and basically is going blow for blow with the Nomu. Deku backs up and screams, "Air type!" blasting shockwaves at the Nomu's body, rising it up slowly into the air. Midoriya, watch out! Deku was being charged by Shigaraki at insane speed. Before he knew it, Shigaraki grabbed his arm and disintegrated it. Deku then flips away and looks at his arm. Oh my god! My arm! My arm! Why? Idiot kid. You're no hero. You're just an NPC. Deku then just grows his arm back. I was kidding. An NPC, huh? I mean, I would say I'm more of a protagonist. Deku charges at Shigaraki, but the Nomu steps in front of him. Damn it! You again? Fine. Deku uses his compass needle and basically compasses a compass-looking snowflake arrives around him or under him. And as the Nomu and Shigaraki actually charge at him, they can't lay a finger on him. Shigaraki just begins to panic, this kid, how is he able to do this? Out of nowhere, you can hear from the back of the USJ is, I am here. All Might then arrives to join the battle. Kawagiri, we have to get out of here. This kid was a bigger problem than I thought. I have to Tell him about it. They leave, but decide to basically leave the Nomu and various villains behind. All Might, about to jump into action, is stopped. Deku begins to walk to him. All Might, sit this one out. I can handle this. Plus, your injury, you can't overwork yourself. How did you... Before All Might could even ask anything, Deku dashes off at the Nomu with like this wide smile on his face because he just loves to fight. Regeneration, huh? Well, I guess I have to hit you even harder. As Deku began to just unleash all his strength hitting the Nomu, his like smile widened even further. His eyes turned to this like light yellow as his body slowly began to cover itself like with lines. I've never pushed myself this hard. I guess this is a result of doing just that. As he basically acknowledges like the changes that he's seeing on his body. To finish the Nomu off, Deku screams, "Annihilation type!" Like completely incapacitating the Nomu. After the fight was over, the pro heroes basically came to clean up the mess. And eventually Deku got scolded, but still thanked for at least jumping in like he did. After getting about 2 days off, they return to class and Aizawa begins to explain things, like some things. Okay class, first off, the UA Sports Festival is coming up, where pro heroes will be watching you to determine if they want to invite you for an internship. Everyone begins to basically get excited, and they all start talking about how cool this is gonna be. I'm not done yet, the sports festival is in 2 days, so do what you feel is best to prepare. Also, one last thing, before you go, we have a new student that is getting moved up in place of Mineta from class 1B. Come on in. This is Kendo. Kendo says hi to everyone and takes a seat next to Deku where Mineta was once sitting. After class, Deku actually decides to catch up with her, telling her that she looks really familiar. Then he remembers that during his martial arts training, Kendo was a student at one of the dojos he attended. She then responds, "Oh yeah, I mean, you're like the best in our dojo before you left. Wait, I've been meaning to ask, like, why did you leave?" Well, there wasn't anything else for me, like basically to learn, so I had to leave to get more martial arts training. She then basically says that, yeah, that makes sense. They both exchanged numbers and actually set a time to spar and train together, which Kendo learns some more martial arts techniques from Deku, and basically, I guess, the short amount of time they actually do have. The 2 days then pass and the UA Sports Festival has finally arrived. All the classes are called out to the field, and then Deku is eventually asked to give his speech as the class representative. "Better not fuck this up, you damn nerd, or I'll kill you." Deku basically starts to laugh and just heads up to the podium. I will keep this short, but I feel like I can speak for everyone that we want to give everyone a show and make this as entertaining as possible. But at the end of the day, I will be the one at the top of the podium. Thank you. Midnight after the speech then announces the first phase of the sports festival, the obstacle race. Everyone lines up and they all dash off. When everyone reaches the first obstacle, a huge wave of ice freezes over the ground to stop basically a lot of the contestants from moving. Deku sees this and just uses the walls to bounce back and forth over the ice. Deku just runs after Todoroki and just punches through these 0-point robots standing in his way. Bakugo and Todoroki are basically hot on his trail, and after passing the ravine, the three of them are basically neck and neck. They all come across the minefield, and Bakugo and Todoroki try and go across safely, but Deku just full sprints across, not caring about the explosions. Deku then comes in first, but instead of the audience cheering, they gasp in horror. They're like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And he's like, Deku basically is like, "What are they gasping about?" Oh, wait. Deku actually realizes that he's missing half of his right arm and missing the entirety of his left. Deku basically just regenerates it back, and everyone in the crowd just like sighs in relief. not knowing that Deku knew that he was able to just basically regenerate and he would be fine even if the explosions hit him head on. Everyone else gets the same placement, and then the next event is finally revealed: the cavalry battle. Basically is eventually. The cavalry battle will occur, and it's announced that the first place will be worth 10 million points. Deku visually smiles at the challenge of having 10 million points. He even asked if he could do the event on his own, but is refused, unfortunately. He ends up teaming up with Kendo, Meihatsume, and Uraraka, so no Tokiyami this time. But as the match starts, Deku's team just heads away as quick as possible from everyone, and as Shoto and Bakugo charge at them, Deku just uses shockwaves, and Kendo uses the air from her big hands to just slow everyone down, or just blow them back completely. And if anyone even got near Deku using Uraraka's Uraraka's gravity quirk and Mei's equipment, they would just blast themselves up to get away, and they eventually pretty easily hold on to the 10 million points. After all of that, the one-on-one fights then begin. Deku's first match is announced to be against Shinso. Deku, even before the match, can tell what Shinso wants him to do, but he has an idea, and he's able to basically sense this intent from his intense mental and physical training with martial arts. Before Shinso even starts talking to Deku begins to talk. Listen, don't talk yet. I know how your quirk works. Impressive, very impressive actually. And I respect the want to become a hero even with a quirk like this. At the end of the day though, I have to beat you. But I do think that quirk has a lot of possibilities. Okay, now go ahead. Ask me something. I want to see if your quirk works on me. Shinso literally stands there in complete confusion, not actually comprehending if this guy is serious or just straight up mocking him. Shinso then asks okay, why do you think I can become a hero? Deku answers, and Shinso activates his quirk, and Deku just stands motionless. Shinso, kinda hesitant at what the hell just happened, goes, now walk out the ring. Deku turns and starts to walk, and then just abruptly stops. He then turns, shooting a shockwave at Shinso. He then wins via ring out. Damn, Shinso almost had me there for a second, not gonna lie. I thought my mental training meant nothing to that quirk for a second. Sorry it had to end like this, but I know that you can get transferred into our class. Come on, have you seen some of my classmates' quirks? Don't tell them I said that though. And Deku kind of begins to laugh. Deku picks him up and watches the rest of his matches until it's his turn once again, seeing actually Kendo getting knocked out in the first round by Bakugo. He basically tells Kendo it's okay, you just gotta train harder, we can train more after the festival. She smiles in agreement, and Deku's match against Shoto, why did I say Shinso? Sorry, Shoto finally arrives. While walking through the hallway, Endeavor walks up to Deku to ask him something. Deku, sensing him there and sensing the intent of Endeavor, basically tells him, stop. I already know what you're gonna say. Todoroki to use his fire side. Honestly, I don't care about you or your struggles with your son, but I do care about having a good match. Fire is basically the only thing that has ever hurt me, so I will get him to use that quirk, but not for you, and maybe not even for me. I'm just trying to tell myself that it's for me, so I don't feel soft. Also, I don't like you. I don't know why, but I can just tell there's something wrong with you. You give me that aura. Not sure what it is, but I'll figure that out later. Endeavor visually shocked at the fact that this kid just basically read him and said exactly what Endeavor wanted Deku to do, but when he was basically seeing Deku stare him down, it felt odd. Deku read straight through who the man like who that man was, right? Who Endeavor was. Deku then just walks away, leaving Endeavor speechless. The fight starts and Todoroki begins to use his ice, but frankly can't even touch Deku. So are you gonna use your fire? You know I'm weak to the sun, so wouldn't that be your best course of action? Shoto refuses and basically doesn't even say anything until Deku continues to talk, and Shoto basically says that he refuses to use his old man's quirk. Deku explains to him that his quirk first arrived, that when Deku's quirk first, when he, like his own quirk first arrived, he felt like a monster, but at the same time was still excited. He's like, my quirk basically makes me a demon, dude. How am I supposed to feel about that? But at the end of the day, that quirk is still my quirk. And it's the same thing with you. That fire is yours. Shoto basically seemingly doesn't even budge on that idea. Have it your way. Deku charges and begins to beat on Shoto until Shoto basically can make space with his ice. I refuse to use my father's quirk. Damn it, Todoroki. You sound so damn ignorant. It isn't his quirk. It's literally yours. It's your power. Use it. Stop squandering what you've been given. Use what you have been blessed with, and let the world see that you aren't your father, that you are more. That you are Shoto Todoroki, not Endeavor's son, but future pro hero. Todoroki's flames then just burst and begin to shine throughout the whole stadium. Deku then thinks to himself that he can finally have a real fight. They begin to fight and the flames are seemingly slowing Deku's regeneration down, until Deku basically falls back, planting his feet. Finally, now let's see. Now let's end this, Todoroki. Right now. Shoto fires off tons of flames at Deku, and Deku screams, "Air type disorder!" The smoke clears with Shoto out of the ring and Deku standing in the ring with half his body gone. Damn, that was a strong blast. He then basically regenerates. Like, not fast though, pretty slow because of the flames. But he does regenerate, picking up Todoroki and basically bringing him to the infirmary. After the other matches conclude, just like in normal fashion, the final matchup is Bakugo versus Deku. Kacchan, you know you can just forfeit right now. Like, you're just gonna get knocked out cold again. Watch, nerd. I'm ready for you this time. The fight begins and Bakugo just starts on the offensive right off the bat. His hands begin to glow and he maintains explosions on the outsides of his hands. He punches straight through Deku, and Deku realizes that he can't regenerate nowhere near as fast as this, and as Bakugo is hitting him. Out of pure desperation, Deku basically just kicks him away. His stomach finally closes, but Deku knows that this is a different Bakugo. Bakugo then explodes the ground around Deku, creating a large amount of smoke in the area. Just like how Uraraka and Kanon did, Bakugo begins to just throw the clothing, his clothing, out toward different directions, basically to overwhelm Deku's senses in the smoke. Knowing that Deku would most likely close his eyes and try to focus on what is happening around him and the disturbance in the smoke that happens. Out of nowhere, Bakugo, using a Howlister impact, charges at Deku, but then Deku screams back and screams disorder. The smoke clears with Bakugo gone from sight until he's behind Deku, trying to blast off his legs. Deku grabs his arms, using his experience in Wing Chun to trap his arms, elbowing Bakugo in the face and sweeping his legs, kicking him upward and jumping up with him, using his air type to knock Bakugo out of the ring. Deku, after the fight, goes to help up Bakugo, but he refuses to accept his help. "Whatever, you damn nerd. I don't need your help." Bakugo walks away, questioning what will it take to keep up or even surpass this dude. The ceremony begins with All Might congratulating the people who placed in the top 3, but the second place was missing. Bakugo refused to come, and Deku, after getting the medal, just left as fast as possible, not liking ceremonies all that much. The next day, Aizawa began to explain the opportunities that were offered because of the sports festival. Midoriya got the most offers, then Todoroki, then Bakugo. If you haven't got an offer, what will be arranged for you? He tells them that they all now have to come up with like their hero names, and that he's terrible at that, so Midnight will help. And actually, just for like a little heads up, I'm still gonna be calling him Deku because I feel like that'd be the easiest way to go about it in terms of telling the story. But I mean, if you want me to call him by this, here, you'll see right now. If you want me to call him by this, then let me know in the comments. Deku actually decides on the hero name, the Demon Brawler Akaza. People ask like, why Akaza? Like, that sounds like a weird name. And he basically explains that, weirdly enough, that it came to him in a dream one time that he was watching a person by the name of Akaza fight, and it seemed like a perfect hero name for him, especially him being like a martial artist, that it just fit. Everyone begins to talk about like where they want to go and about what names they have chosen until the bell rings for everyone to leave, and Bakugo, without saying anything, just leaves, not even screaming at them for being extras. Deku doesn't seem too concerned, but is weirded out that Bakugo has been acting this way, especially because he never has done this before when they were kids. He mostly just yelled at him. The next day, everyone basically headed off to their internships, and Kendo and Deku basically make their way to the train together. And Kendo goes to the same internship as in Canon, but Deku actually goes to an internship with someone else. He got one offer that really interested him, and that was the rabbit hero Mirko, because of her immense physical strength and fighting skills. When he arrives, she invites him in, and he begins to talk about, she begins to talk about what they will be doing. So basically, I'm gonna have you be doing paperwork and going on coffee runs. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're gonna spar for a couple days, and then we're gonna head to a place called Hosu City and actually fight some real villains, because you don't want to spar with me all the time, because for one, you're gonna get beat up. Secondly, it's not good it creates habits. Deku basically sighs in relief, and like he's like, I don't want to freaking pick up coffee, you know? And after spars and actually struggling against her overwhelming power and speed, he realizes a lot of the flaws he has, like in his fighting techniques. That even though he is extremely durable and that he can regenerate, if he protects himself in a fight, it would allow for many other openings instead of just leaving himself wide open to take damage. He even works on like his counters and defensive techniques against Mirko. Like basically to shore up his fighting skills. Then the day came and they begin to head off to Hosu and basically hunt down some villains. But when they arrive, everything seems to be in complete shambles, and fire is just ignited on all the buildings. Midoriya, you need to stay here. You cannot fight in this. But Mirko, no, please stay. She leaves, and after a few minutes, Deku just begins to detect something with immense killing intent, like overwhelmingly so. I can tell it's a few blocks away, but I can feel it from here. Deku then ignores what Mirko said and races to the area, seeing a pro hero laying there dead, as well as Ida, his classmate, about to suffer the same fate. Deku kicks the villain away, and he realizes that this villain is the hero killer. Another fake hero for me to kill, huh? Should be easy enough. Deku then shouts, "Compass Needle!" Like a snowflake around him arises from the ground, and as the hero killer begins to attack, he actually can't land a hit on Deku. Deku blasts him away with a shockwave, like with a shockwave in the air, and consults Ida like, "Yo, Class Prez, like, what's going on here? This is not your fight, please." Okay, stop right there. You sound ridiculous. You can't win this fight. I'm not sure if I can, honestly, but Only time may tell. Deku reaches into his pocket and clicks something on his phone and puts it away. The battle then continues, Deku trying to keep the hero killer at a distance until he throws a blade at Ida. Deku jumps in front of it and gets stabbed in the back. Wow, kid, how selfless of you. Didn't think you would even have done that. Impressive. The hero killer charges in and licks some of the blood that is on the ground, immobilizing Deku. Damn it! I can't move. Sorry, kid, but I have an agenda, and I always stick to that agenda. For you, though, you can live. You earned my respect. The hero killer is about to kill Ida, but right before he stabs his blade through him, a kick blasts the hero killer in the face. Damn it, Midoriya. I told you to stay where you were. Sorry about that, Mirko. Whatever. Can you move yet? No, but I can tell very soon. Mirko begins to basically fight the hero killer, trying her best to avoid getting stabbed, and actually lands significant blows, slowing him down, until she gets cut and immobilized as well. Too bad. The rabid hero, just not good enough. Out of nowhere came a barrage of shockwaves, blasting the hero killer into the wall, knocking him out cold. Damn, that was close, huh, Mirko? Always wanting to make a flashy ending, huh, Midoriya? You know it. The hero killer is then brought into custody, and the credit is solely given to Mirko for defeating him, because Deku and Ida don't have their hero license and would get into serious trouble otherwise. The next day in class, All Might was actually holding training, a form of rescue race. The race was between Deku, Mina, Ojiro, Ida, and Sarah. The race was honestly pretty one-sided. Deku races past everyone in a blink and even flies for a bit using his shockwaves that he basically learned, like to control shockwaves to accelerate himself in the air. All Might congratulates him on a job well done, and that he is definitely using his quirk to the fullest. After class, Kendo and Deku actually hang out once again at a nearby dojo. They talk about how their internships went, and Kendo explaining that it was a bit underwhelming to say the least, but Deku explains that his was quite the opposite, and basically explains like what happened. To finish off the day, Kendo asked to learn what Deku used on Bakugo at the end of their fight, thinking that it would be very beneficial to learn. Deku then asks, like, you mean the Wing Chun? And she goes like, yeah, when you grabbed his hands, right, and elbowed him? And Deku's like, oh yeah, totally, I can teach you that. And he basically agrees and teaches her the basics of Wing Chun and how to properly execute it in a fight. And especially with the big hands quirk or the big fist quirk, that would be super beneficial for her. The next day, Aizawa begins to speak about the final exams, and that there's a written portion, and then there will be a practical exam. For the next couple of days, everyone, including Deku, studies for the exam, and when it finally comes around, Deku feels pretty confident, but is still not the best at taking tests at the end of the day. After the exam, all the students are asked to go get into their hero costumes and head to the gym. When the students arrive, all the teachers are there. And Aizawa begins to explain that this year, the practical will be against the teachers, explaining that it will be 2 students versus 1 teacher wearing weights, and that this will be your ticket to go into the forest training camp. All the matches are announced, and then All Might comes flying in from the sky. Bakugo and Midoriya, your opponent is our one and only symbol of peace. I am here! Deku smiles widely in excitement, as well as Bakugo, but wincing at the fact that he has to be paired with Deku. All the other fights go normal until the fight with All Might versus Bakugo and Deku. The match begins with them searching for All Might. Nerd, I don't need your help. I can beat him on my own. I'll do it by myself. As much as I want to let you fight him on your own, I don't think that's a good idea. What, are you looking down on me? Kachan, dude, no. We need to win, and I want to assure that. Bakugo basically just ignores it. All Might then appears, shooting a gust of wind at Deku and Bakugo, blasting them backwards, but they're able to keep their footing. Bakugo flies at him at full speed to attack All Might and lands a good punch, surrounding his hand with that explosive power. But All Might shrugs it off and grabs him by the arm and is about to slam him. But Deku blasts All Might with a vicious kick to the stomach. Damn it, Deku! I told you I didn't need your help! Stop being stubborn. He had you dead to rights there. Shut up, Deku! Bakugo blasts Deku in the stomach, launching him away, and actually kind of knocking him out for a little bit. Bakugo begins to fight All Might, breaking his own body. It's just to land blows, but is eventually knocked out. With 2.5 minutes left in the test, Deku gets up and realizes that the best way to win is to just escape. But how could he pass up the chance like this? Flying in using shockwaves, connecting flush on All Might's jaw, sending him flying. Get up, All Might. I've been waiting to challenge you in a fight for the longest time. I am so excited. When All Might gets up, but as Deku sees him stand, Deku kicks him once again in the gut and uses his compass needle to basically even up the fight. All Might tries to hit Deku, but he's able to track his movement, dodging and striking with increased accuracy. Deku actually realizes, using his heightened senses, where All Might's injury is exactly, and begins to strike at it repeatedly. Deku then, using his disorder type, launching All Might. He basically launches All Might at the nearby building. Deku picks up Bakugo and puts the cuffs on All Might. Deku begins to think about how Bakugo has been acting and that he's really not himself. And he may not be as strong as oh my bad. That he's not being himself, and that All Might that All Might doesn't seem to be very strong or nowhere near as what he was during his peak. But he basically still somewhat struggled against a very weakened All Might. Deku then brings Bakugo to the infirmary, and Bakugo wakes up to see Deku leaving the infirmary, and in his head he's just frustrated that once again that damn nerd had to save him, and that he's just so much farther ahead, and he doesn't know how he can even catch up. The next day, Aizawa explains that everyone will be going to the forest trading camp, but the people who failed will be taking extra classes. On the way over to the camp, the bus abruptly stops, and Class 1A meet the Wild Wild Pussycats. Then they realize that it was a trap, until the whole mountain basically turns into a wave, launching everyone off. And Aizawa says, "The training camp starts now, Class 1A." And that is where we're going to end off part 2 of What If Deku was a Reincarnation of Akaza. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And also, don't forget to comment down below any suggestions. Because this right here, what if Deku was a Reincarnation of Akaza, was a suggestion that someone made, and I turned it into a what if. Because as much as this is my channel, I think it's as much as mine as yours, and I would love to try my best to do all your what ifs. Obviously, if 100 of you suggest what ifs, I won't be able to do all 100. I mean, it would take a while, right? But I definitely would try my best, and I'd love to hear any of your input on this what if, or maybe even a future what if that you want to see. And yeah, go check out my links in my about tab on my channel. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I appreciate it so much for all the love and support. And that's about it. Have an amazing day. Later.
I don't wanna waste what's left.